Okay, so here we are. This is a very, very special interview here tonight. Basically, I'm here with Pixie Knight, and this is Seshireland's first interview. So, take it easy on us, first time out and all that kind of thing. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, Pixie came to me a little while back, and she had a piece of music, and I felt it was absolutely amazing. So I felt it was only right to put Pixie as the first guest for an interview in Seshireland. So thank you for coming along. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and just let us know. Just fire away. I know women like to talk, so it's on you,
Okay.
really. So what's one thing you wish you would have known before you began your career?
Wow. Okay.
It's a big one, I know.
Yeah, that's a huge one. Hello, by the way. Say it again. Sorry.
What's one thing you wish you would have known before you began your career?
What career?
music.
First of all, okay, in music.
Now, during our recordings, we had a few ups and downs. There was a bit of, civil unrest, at times. But we got there. We got there eventually. And the song, I just can't wait for you guys to hear it. I'm so proud that this song was created here in this studio. Just so happy, So it is a career. It's a start. It's like putting your best foot forward. You know what I mean? That's what you've done. So how do you feel about it? How do you feel about the song?
I really like the song. The song "Bad Lad" was. It came to be a couple of months ago. It was first conceived. My music partner Will, his artist name is Ulven.
Ulven, yes, we'll call him Ulven.
Can we start from Can we just ask the question again, please?
Right. Okay. So, what's one thing you wish you would have known before you began your music journey?
I suppose there's lots of things I'd wish I'd known. There's lots of things I wish I knew now because I feel like I'm only really beginning. So I don't feel like I've learned. Well, I have learned a lot so far, and it's only been a short space of time. But there's so much more to learn.
Yeah.
It's a long road, and I'm just venturing out in it now.
How do you feel about the song? Like, it's there, you've I'm sure you've played it to a few of your friends and so on. What way have they taken it? Are they, do they like it as much as I do, or am I gone mad over this track and it's not as good as I think it is? Do they like it as much as I do?
Yeah, other people like it. You're not the only one.
Yeah.
I know, because the music that I've made, like this song, it was just myself and two others who worked on the tracks. So I'm the sole singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
And then Will, artist name Uvlin, is the main kind of music producer.
Yeah.
So he made
He produced the beat for you.
Yeah, the chorus beats
Yeah.
using MIDI instruments. And then another guy, Adolfo Lazar, he contributed kind of melodic guitar and bass.
What's his name?
Adolfo Lazar.
It's a very Irish name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's Brazilian.
Was it Kerry? Brazil. Okay.
As is Will,
yeah.
but yeah.
Right. Okay. So so you're working with Brazilian artists and pushing your music out that way. So you're reaching out really globally on a global level, really, to people, different cultures, and expanding, on a broader sense, people who in Ireland will listen to your music. You're expanding their generalization, their general thoughts on music and where it's coming from. So that's quite interesting. So what do you think? What was the biggest problem that you came up with while putting the music together? Now you can be honest. Don't worry. I won't punch you.
The biggest problem. Well, let me just eliminate some things. So let me go through the process. The writing was really easy. That just kind of happened because the way I wrote it was, I listened to the to to Ulvin's music.
Ulvin, yeah.
Yeah. I listened to his music and I just wrote what kind of came to me, what I felt from the music.
Right. Okay. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
About me.
Yeah.
So
We want to know. We want to know
Yeah.
who is Pixie Knight.
Okay. Well.
Your fans, your future fans, they all want to know. Come on.
Pixie Knight, real name Peggy Ann Knight. I'm from Mayo in the west of Ireland. And
The West.
The West, yeah.
The West.
The West.
I like the West.
Yeah, we love seshes in the West.
Sessions. Right, a bit of a tongue twister there, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm from Mayo. I went to school in Mayo. I was born in England though, just to backtrack. Moved here when I was 2 or 3. I can't remember. I was very young at the time.
Right.
And
2 or 3 is quite young.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
And then I went to college and studied film for 5 years.
As a 3-year-old.
I know, I skipped. I'm going like back and forward.
No, when I was wondering,
like,
you said you were 3, you came over, you went to college. So.
Okay, no, I went to school in Mayo.
Okay, so,
and then,
right, you were taking it step by step.
And
Go
then I went to college for 5 years to study film, first in Limerick and then in Galway.
So we've got a list of questions here, you know, so we're going to go through some questions here. It's going to be like question time, so watch the ride. As we go, okay, no, cut that bit.
What did you say?
Watch the ride. That's
right, okay.
What do you think I said?
I don't, that, but I didn't.
That's what we said. Right, okay, no, okay, this has gone completely off course. Right, so I'd like to know, how long have you had a love of music?
I've always had a love of music. Who hasn't, you know? To be human is to like music, or to like music is to be human.
Yeah.
So I just don't know where to begin.
Yeah.
So I suppose even in the womb, my
That's
mom.
going back a good bit.
Yeah, my mom said she used to sing to me before she even knew I was a girl. Edwyn Collins's "Never Met a Girl Like You Before" to her tummy.
Right.
So I like to
Okay.
think from that moment, and I love that song now. So.
Yeah, I remember when my son was in the belly.
Yeah.
And I used to play Bob Marley to him.
Oh, lovely.
And now he loves Bob Marley
Yeah.
music now, you know. And it's like he doesn't know why he loves it, but if
Yeah.
I put on Bob Marley, he'll just relax, he'll chill out.
I think, yeah,
and
definitely.
you know, it's great that way. And so, do you come from a musical family? Are your family lovers of music, or are they, you know, musicians, or yeah, like yourself?
Well, no. The short answer is but they're not musicians, but they love music.
Yeah.
My dad has been a member of a Status Quo fan club since he was 13, so he's like serious about music from his time, I guess. And growing up, I was shown The World of Rock by Dad. So that was kind of, I know like my music isn't rock, but like it's inspired by, I guess, a lot of different types of music, but that's like a part of my past that, you know, it's
so it gave you some direction of
exactly.
So you're a bit of a, so would you be a little bit of a rock chick?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I like things that are a bit different. I'm not like other girls. No.
Right, okay.
I mean, like, you know, just.
I don't know what other girls are like, so. But anyway, yeah, okay.
I mean, I just like, like I said, things are a bit different. I've always liked the punk, grunge, sad boy rap, like things that are a bit like the degenerate kind of music.
Would it be going emo direction?
Yeah, that's like a type of punk. I think there's like a kind of what would you call it? There's like a genealogy kind of tree of where punk comes from, or emo. You know, like it all relates to each other, I think. Yeah,
believe it or not, when I was growing up at
I just imagine you with an emo fringe.
Yeah, no.
No.
Yeah, I actually had, you know what I had? I had a horseshoe. So the horseshoe, it went around like this is when I had the it's all forehead now, but the horseshoe was like this. It went all the way around here and met up there, and all this part was shaved out, and all this part was shaved out, and I thought I was the
Wow.
coolest guy out
Yeah.
there. You know, the coolest
I don't
guy in
know that
Ireland walking
hairstyle.
around. It's called the horseshoe.
Wow.
It was actually quite cool, but it's not something I do now.
No.
You know, so but it did look good. But I was actually into the growing up as well. I was into mod. You know, the mod music, the mod style. You know, all the
Mm.
kind of like ska music,
Oh,
all
yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
thing.
Why
You
is
were
it
actually.
mod? Sorry.
Uh-huh. There was kind of it
The
was
term,
there was a battle. There was like a battle between it was punk, mod, scars. It was all different
I
groups of.
forget what mods are. Like I've seen it referenced, but I'm like I can't. Do you know?
Yeah,
I don't have a
it's
picture
kind of
for it
like
in my head.
it's like a mixture of it all. It's like a
Mm.
mishmash.
Mm.
But I used to be going around with the different color socks, fluorescent socks. So it was kind of punkish,
Mm.
but not too punkish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's a bit of history there. That was back in when I used to live in Rochester in Kent. That was a little bit of a while ago.
And Kent is where I was born.
Joking.
Excuse me. Yeah.
What part?
Ashford.
Ashford, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I was in Rochester.
Mhm.
So I used to play rugby there and so on.
That
But
sounds posh.
back to the music.
Rochester.
Back to the
Mm.
music. So you were saying your family,
Oh, sorry.
are into what? Well, your dad especially was
Yeah.
into. He had his mind set on a particular
Mhm.
type of music. So where is he based? Is he based back in London or
No, he lives in Ireland.
he's Irish? Is he?
Yeah. Well, no,
Right.
he's English. Sorry,
He's
but
English, right,
he
okay.
lives in Ireland.
Right. Okay.
We-
And is your mother? Is she? Are they both English or?
My mum is Irish, but she was raised in England, so she has
Right,
an English
okay.
accent. Like
So
lots of
something like
people-
yourself then.
I don't have an English accent.
No, something like yourself, like
Oh, my
born.
family.
Yeah, like where you're
Yeah.
you're growing up here more or
Mm.
less since 3. You were saying.
I'd love to have an English accent, by the way, but I just don't.
Yeah, no, your accent is quite
You'd
nice.
think with
It's on
Parents,
the level.
like,
It's
but-
Irish. You know what I mean.
Mm,
So yeah.
it's Irish, yeah.
So what part was she from? Mayo? Did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And your dad?
he's entirely British. Like he's, I think we have ancestors in Wales, but he, like the core of the family is from Gloucestershire, and they moved to Kent when my dad was young. So,
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But I would call Kent like where where I was born. But I
Mm.
would say I'm from Mayo because I was raised there, and it's like
A Mayo girl.
yeah, Mayo, on
Mayo
Mayo.
girl. Up there,
Mayo
that.
for Sam.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'd like to know. So what I'd like to know is this song that you came up with. Like I really do like it, and I think the viewers are really going to enjoy it.
Mm.
So can you give me a bit of insight into how the song came about? What was the feeling behind it?
Mm.
Where did it come from?
Mm. So the song is essentially there's two main feelings.
It's Bad Lad, by the way, people.
Yeah, the song is
Lad.
called Bad Lad. And the two core feelings, I suppose, of the song is hope and heartbreak. So it's about a teenage girl, maybe 15, 16, and she has an innocent crush on a bad boy in her school. And I say innocent because she would probably not act on it, and she doesn't think in a million years that he would be interested in her. She would love it, but she doesn't think it would happen. So the song doesn't talk a lot about him. It's even though it's called Bad Lad, it's more about her and her considering how he perceives her.
Yeah.
And what does he think of me? Does he even know I exist? That kind of way. And so the reason or the way that came about was listening to Ulvin's music. I just felt these feelings, and I went back to a time in my past, and it's not like entirely like 100% true, but I did use things that happened to me and things that I saw happen to other people when I was young as inspiration. So I kind of used different things in my head to make this story, this narrative, because it does progress, it does change.
Yeah. So can you give the viewers maybe a couple of lines from the song, and maybe explain what that meant?
Okay.
What that meant as a as a writer.
I feel like this format is trademarked.
Could be.
But that's, no, you're just asking me. No, that's fine. I wish you could pick lines and like ask them. That would be great, because I'm just like.
Okay.
Can you remember?
Yeah, for the part where you were saying
in your head, maybe.
the part where you were saying on the bus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously, like that's I'm a guy, so it's that's kind of a basic, like what I'd remember. You know what I mean, of the track, and that's basic. But I'm trying to see if you can take us a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Into you know, the psyche of the person, or where you are.
Yeah.
In space and time with the track.
So the back of the bus, like that line, what is it?
It's like for what I could see, it was a visual part where you were sitting on the bus and his friends. He was talking with his friends.
Oh, this is in the last.
Yeah.
Do you want to like spoiler?
Well, no, spoiler alert.
That's in the last, like.
No,
it's a narrative, and you're just like, so the ending.
Straight to the end.
Yeah.
No, but people listening, they haven't heard it yet, so they don't know whether it's the beginning, excuse me, the middle or the end as well. So, so that part where it sounded to me, if I can explain from where I'm coming from, it sounded like it was a girl, a woman, a young lady on her own on the bus, and she's listening to her crush talking, and you know, she seems to be imagining, you know, that you were sitting together.
Oh, sorry.
And
I
maybe,
thought you were talking about the end. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe traveling along.
Yeah.
But he doesn't see her as, you know, his main squeeze, we could say.
Yeah.
You know. That's from my point. That's what I took from it. But is there more to it than that?
Well, from the songwriter's point of view, like the person telling the story, I guess she sits at the front of the bus, like and he sits at the back of the bus. So it's a physical, like, distance, but it's also, like, that metaphorical, like, oh, we'll never be together. Like, when she gets on the bus and she goes up the steps and she looks back and she sees his eyes and they meet, and it's like, oh, my God. And that's kind of the closest that they can be, I guess. And in that moment, it's like, oh, my God, imagine if I could, you know, stare into those eyes. And
Yeah.
but it's like, it's all
so she's really got a
fantasy, though. It's not.
Yeah, she's really got a deep investment in that
age,
guy. Yeah, so she's got a deep investment in that guy, but something seemed to be in her way. Like what was in her way?
Well, it's insecurities, and when you're a teenager, like that's why a lot of it is about her considering how she's perceived, because when you're a teenager, that's so important to you, like how other people see you. Well, it's important all the time, really, like to
it is. I remember teenage years.
I think that's when you really become aware, like, because when you're a kid, you're a bit more like, oh, you know, do whatever, have fun, don't care, so happy. But when you get a bit older, it's like, oh no, what do I look like when I do this, and do I look nice? And you want to be accepted by your peers. Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of peer pressure. You know, you want to be the first, you want to be cool like everyone else, and it's just, you know, everybody wants to fit in. There's so much fitting in. Everybody wants to fit in to the group, and if you're outside the group, it's, you know, there's something wrong, or that person is weird. They're a nerd, and so on. So it is like the teenage years, definitely. You know, they would have been very tough for everyone, I'm sure. So you've really stretched that out and opened it up for people to understand, you know, the journey through that time.
Like I wanted to, because obviously I'm not a teenager, but I kind of tapped into that part of my life and that part of my brain, even, because we all have like that tiny person inside of us still, you know, and that vulnerability.
Yep, that's the one.
I'm just wondering how many.
I don't know how I got that, but yeah, got it.
So we all have that still inside us. So to kind of tap into that and let it out. Because I think it's good to recognize these things and for what they were, or for what they are, and not to be embarrassed by it, because it's just life, like, and we all feel like that, I think.
Yeah. So, do you think do you think this song will help people in a way? You know, so you're actually helping people. Do you feel that that will happen
I don't know.
if they listen to it?
It would be lovely if people related to it.
Yeah.
And people that I've shown the song to have said, like, oh, I remember things like that happening to me. Or I would like to think that people could relate to it and know that that hopelessness and that heartbreak and stuff is just part of life, and it's horrible. And this kind of this pining just to feel
Accepted.
yeah,
maybe?
and just like to be liked and to be wanted by someone you want. Because I know anyway, when I was younger, I was incredibly like, I let things come to me, not in the way that there was loads of things coming to me, but I wouldn't actively seek out things that I wanted, because I felt like I just had to take what I was given, kind of.
Yeah.
That sounds so terrible, but
Okay. But in a way as well, if you just open that.
yeah, but that's why when I say about taking what I was given, that's why the girl in this song, she doesn't act upon, like, she feels all these wonderful feelings for this boy, but she doesn't actually act on them, because she's like, it's not her place to do that.
Okay, but in a way as well, for a male listening to this song, it might help him, you know, think more of how that female, you know, is thinking. It might,
maybe.
it might, you know, open up. It might help someone. You know what I mean? But it's just an absolutely beautiful song, and I can't wait till the viewers get to hear it.
Thank you. I'm excited too, because it's like, at the end of the day, it is a love song. I say, like, hope and heartbreak, but that's essentially a love song. And even the beat of the song, it's a waltz, so that's kind of romantic, like, and I don't know. That's part of the reason why as well I felt like it was a love song when I first heard the music.
Right. Okay. So basically, you've come up with a really good song. It's going to be a hard one to top. You know, I feel it's going to be a very hard one to top. It's really good. So, but I know that you definitely have an ability that I haven't seen before. So, what can we expect? Do you think we can expect from you in the future? Are you going out, you know, and going to try and top this track?
Well, I have a few other tracks that I think are better than this track. But
you were saying that. Yeah.
They're different. Like, you can't like. It's like, it's art. You can't like compare everything. But I do believe that there's much more to come.
Yeah.
So this is just one piece of a bigger narrative about when I was 15, 16, and all the songs are inspired from that time in my life that I've written and that are coming out. So they'll appear on an album, and that album will be out early next year. But for now, this is our first single, and we hope to release another single from the album in a couple weeks. It just depends on where I'm recording and where I'm being mixed and mastered and stuff. I say where I am, like where the music is being mixed and mastered.
Yeah, okay.
Because the music is ready, like all the tracks. It just needs to be properly recorded and mixed and mastered.
Very good. Okay, so where do you see yourself in 5 or maybe 10 years' time musically?
Wow. So
not in a physical sense, not where you be living. Will you be in Dublin or London or New York? But where would you like your music to be?
I'd like it to be listened to by people who can just find their own meaning out of it. That would be nice in 5 or 10 years, that it's still like a bit relevant. Because I don't think it is kind of specific, but I don't think it's specific enough that people can't relate to it. So I would love to have sang the songs live and connected to fans. And
Yeah,
I don't know,
yeah.
like this is all kind of dreamy stuff.
It
'Cause
is,
it's
but
so
that's,
far away.
but people try to live the dream,
Yeah.
and when you have a talent, it's just a matter of just pursuing it and finding what direction it can take you, Um, so I'm quite interested to see, where this is going, and I'm hoping that people enjoy the song as much
Yeah,
as
me
I
too.
have, and I know during recording, we did have our few ups and downs because the song it was going this way. It was perfect, and then it went this way, and then it went that way, and then it went this way, and then it went that way, and then it went all the way back to how we got it on the very first night.
Yeah.
So that was magical, and for me, it was a very enjoyable journey. It was one of the most enjoyable journeys I've had recording here in Seshireland.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank
It
you
was
very
good
much.
crack.
You've blessed us.
As a whole is one big story.
Right,
And
okay.
Ulvin sent me a track, the first track that we ever worked on together, and I just went back. I don't know why, but I just focused on a time from about 10 years ago in my life, and I just started writing from there. And then he sent me another track, and wrote another song, and it came from the same kind of place. And then I thought, oh, we could do something here. So then he sent me like 5 more tracks, and we were like, oh, we have an album. And I guess it's a concept album. I don't even, but I think a concept album is like when the whole piece has a general idea. So the general idea of this album is teenage experiences, and the core is how you are seen by other people when you're young, and how important that is to you.
Yeah.
Like the perceptions that other people have of you. And the album is called Like Whatever, LYK whatever. The LYK kind of stands for like, whatever.
Yeah.
That's
It's like the kind of text chat kind of
yeah,
thing.
exactly. Yeah. We'll say that. It's also a kind of a reference to another popular cartoon
Right, okay.
scene. But yeah.
So you're kind of reflecting back. Were you going to say something else?
No.
Yeah, you're kind of reflecting back to your younger years. So how would you say, for instance, if there's another Pixie Knight, and she wants to express herself, what advice would you give yourself as that young person musically? What advice would you have given yourself?
Write things down, like how you're feeling. I did that a lot, but I didn't keep anything.
Like, was it a diary?
Yeah, I had a lot of journals.
Really?
Diaries, yeah.
And do you still have them?
Nope, they're gone.
No. Sorry, folks. We were going to try and read out. I was going to, maybe the next edition.
Could have sold them.
Read out a few. Yeah, these things could be worth money someday.
Yeah, no, they're gone. I remember the first diary that I actively got rid of. It was in one of those Ashling copybooks, that you have in school. Those little.
Yeah.
Those little red ones. They're
like I can get green ones as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get
with different.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah, different line lengths.
Yeah.
Different margin sizes and so on. Like I always had the big margin, and so I could write less. So
that's a good idea.
Yeah, I was always writing lines, and at the end of class, at the end of school, I'd be stuck there. Nice one, Jack, for helping me write those lines, man. Cheers, pal, if you're watching. Jack he could see the teachers were, you know what I mean. The teachers were kind of getting on to me a little bit, so he always used to help me with the lines during class, so he'd write out loads of them.
Oh, that's sweet.
Jack, the legend,
nice one,
the
Jack.
demon.
Oh, sorry, but the reason why I threw out that, I actually burnt it in the fireplace when I was like 13, and the reason why I did that was because I showed it to a friend, a male friend, because I thought it was quite funny, like my thoughts, and he was just disgusted by it, because a lot of it was about crushes and stuff, because when you're a teenager, well, for me anyway, I had crushes on everybody, so a lot of that went in the diary. And I thought it was just kind of funny, but he was like, "Oh, that's not right," and da da da.
So he
And I
made you throw it in the fire?
No, I just felt disgusted. I felt like it was wrong, basically.
Yeah.
To feel
Well, he made you
these
feel like
things.
it was
Yeah.
wrong,
So
and you were just, being yourself at the time. I'm
yeah.
sure.
And that's why it's so nice now to use things that have happened to me and use things that I definitely wrote about, like in other diaries, now to contribute to these new pieces of art that are new stories and that hopefully sound good in other people's ears.
Yeah. So, is there one particular project that you're, apart from Bad Lad, is there one particular project that you want people to look out for in the future?
Oh, like a song?
Yeah, like the one that
Yeah.
you have in mind.
I love Forever 17. That's my favourite song. That's You heard that song?
Yeah, that was amazing.
The first thing you said was, "I hear money." Literally.
Yeah.
But that's my favourite song, and that was the quickest song to write, because Will sent the music. I love the music, and it Ulvin, and it went from there, and it was really quick, and it was the first song that as I was writing, I burst into tears.
Yeah.
Because it was really like it was stuff that I hadn't really thought about in a long time. So
yeah.
It was cathartic to write about it and to like just put, because there's things in your head that you have feelings about, and you might feel sad or angry or not good about, but they're in your head, but unless you get them on paper, or unless you get them out there, you can't.
It's hard to express it. I like me. Obviously, I'm an artist myself. I do music as well, as try to help other artists and so on. And I remember there was a friend of mine. He died many years ago.
Oh yeah.
And I never cried. I've told a couple of people this, but I never cried when I heard that he died. Right. That actually rhymes.
Shock.
But I was actually in Nigeria at the time, and it was quite tough, because I didn't. It wasn't. I was told that a friend of mine had died, but they wouldn't tell me who exactly it was, and I was thinking, geez, who could it be, and so on.
Terrible.
Yeah, because in a way I'm glad they didn't.
Your brain,
in a way I'm glad they didn't, because I was very close with the guy. So I was thinking, geez, could be him, or could be that fella. I didn't realise who
when you
it
say
was.
they didn't tell you who.
No, like it wasn't. I was in Nigeria.
Right.
I was off in another country, and it would have, it would have been a lot for me to hear that.
You were on your own, away from
I was away, and I was away from Ireland, and it would have been a lot to kind of take. Geez, I wouldn't have been able to get through the rest of the holiday properly and on a level that I would have.
Yeah, you weren't in the right.
Yeah, I wasn't in. I wouldn't have been in the. Mentally, I was just young as well at the time. So when I got back, on the way back, I heard who it was, and it was just such a shock. But I never cried. I was stunned,
Yeah.
And it took me a few years to actually write a song.
Wow.
So I wrote a song, but when I actually did sit down and write the song, tears, it was like a release. Tears started flowing onto the page. Now I'm a fella, I don't cry a lot. And if guys want to cry, look, that's your own business. I don't look down on any guy. If you want to cry. That's who we are. We're all human at the end of the day,
Yeah, it's totally fine. Like, I cry all the time.
Yeah, so, and it was just so I know where that emotion is coming from, where you say you were letting it out and you were releasing it onto the page, because I've felt that before. And for artists to write stuff about, personal stuff, I don't think people who don't do music, I don't think they understand what it actually takes out of a person. And I said to myself, I'm never ever going to write a song about someone who, a close friend who had passed away ever again.
Why?
Because it's just too deep a journey, and it's a journey that I don't want to glorify. It's a journey that I don't want to elaborate on anymore, because I think it just needs to be where it is, and it just needs to stop there. So that's the reason why. But when you're saying about the emotions putting your music together, I completely get it. You know what I mean? I get where you're coming from with that. And being a female, obviously, you have a lot more. It's easier for you to show your emotions more so than guys. Guys, you know, we you know,
Yeah, no,
we'll
it
bang
is
our
true.
we'll bang our foot on the corner of the bed and we'll be you know,
Yeah.
where women will be scream the house down. You know, the neighbours will think there's bloody, you know, someone blew murder or something like that. You know, so yeah, that's quite an interesting.
Yeah, there's different like
idea.
expectations for both sexes.
Yeah.
And I guess, sorry, just bringing it back to the song, just about different expectations about the genders, like with the girl not wanting to act on stuff because it's expected of the boy to kind of choose
exactly
what he wants.
Because it's all, you know, the guy, the bravado,
yeah,
and you know the female, you know, the timid kind of, oh,
Yeah.
you know, hide behind my hand kind of
yeah.
idea. Do you think it's still like that these days? Do you
Oh,
still
I
see
don't
that
know.
all the
I
time?
don't know what kids are at.
No, I mean like as an adult.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Do you think, you know, it's
Yeah.
still? Do you
Yeah.
see any changes?
Like there is, but I suppose when I was younger anyway, I had it in my head that females were the secondary sex, which is totally wrong because there's no secondary sex. Like we're different, but we're equal. You know, that's what I think. Like we could be complementary, like males and females. I think it's good to recognize the differences, but we're equal in the way that we're both important and we're both good. You know, and we can do great things.
We're important, guys.
Yeah, like I don't think, you know, women are better than men or men are better than women. But when I was younger, I did believe that men could do more things and men could kind of choose things and men could. And I always thought.
We can do more things.
Mm-hmm.
We can do everything, guys, can't we?
There's different. Like,
Come on, speak up for the ladies.
I always use
speak up for the ladies.
Like the hunter-gatherer thing about eyesight, how apparently men can see better movement, but women can see better, they have a better perception of colour. So like in hunter-gatherer days, the women would pick berries. Yeah, and they'd like know the poisonous ones and stuff, and the men would hunt. So that's an example of how it's complementary, you know, like one's good at one thing, one's good at the other. And I think that's nice. I don't think that life in its entirety should be like that, because that's, you know, but I think it's a nice thing to recognise, oh yeah, we're different, but we can both do great things. I don't think it's right to think, oh, you're better than me because you have a willy or whatever, you know, or like vice versa. But when you're younger, as a girl, it does. I don't know why, but I did have that that impression, especially in Ireland. Like the sons are always like worshipped by their mothers.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's quite interesting. Yeah.
Well,
I wasn't expecting the willy comment, but like
it was just. You probably just a word. I think for you, you're like, oh Jesus, like.
Be Jesus now. Oh, be God, now don't talk about willies now. But anyway.
The word is so funny.
Yeah. So yeah.
See what I mean? We all have that inner child.
Yeah.
Inside of us.
The inner child in me is just. I think it's just. It's like a statue. It's inside me. It stays there. I'm always, you know, having that crack.
That's good.
So can you name a few people who have been influential on your journey through music?
Do you mean like
apart from on a level as in personal? Are there friends who've pushed you and, you know, that type of way, and family members who have got behind you, or are you, you know, doing this?
Well, no. Like I said, when I was younger, I would take what was given to me. Like I wouldn't ever, or very rarely would I actively seek out things myself. I don't know, was that because I'm an only child, so I was given things a lot, I guess.
The only child syndrome.
Yeah,
okay.
Maybe it's that.
Right.
Also, but
How do you feel about that, being an only child?
I used to say I'm a lonely child.
lonely. Okay.
But to be honest, I think it put me in good stead in the way that now I can make my own fun. Like I am okay with being on my own, and it being in my own company, like I'm content and happy.
Yeah,
I don't
self-sufficient.
I don't actively seek out. I'm not like, oh my god, I need company or whatever.
Yeah.
Of course it's good to get that and it's nice, but I'm not like I'm fine.
Yeah.
But I do think it kind of spoiled me in a way, and it did make me a bit more passive because my parents were so good to me, and I got a lot.
Were? I'm sure they're still good too.
Well, I
are
mean,
they?
like growing up. Oh,
Yeah,
of course,
okay.
yeah. No, they're very good to me now. And I don't have brothers and sisters, but I do have my parents. You know, like I'm close with them.
Yeah, brilliant.
Well, I do have half siblings, but they're much older than me, and they live in England, and we were raised apart.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We do have a lot in common when we do meet up. It's lovely. But
so the bonding, as in, you know, kind of
that's
walking to
sibling.
school together and
No.
the sibling rivalry and so on, that really wasn't there. It was just yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
But
going back to the influential people for your music and who's pushing you and so on.
So, Will really pushed me, Ulvin, because
This is the Brazilian producer.
Yeah.
Music producer.
Yeah, he made most of the music, using MIDI instruments. But he really helped me kind of get that songwriter to write things and to because I know I can write because I've written a few things across the years, like scripts and stories and different things for school and college, and I always liked it, and I was always told like, oh, you're not bad at this, but he really brought out the songwriting part of me, which was great because he was making music and he wanted someone to write words for it and to sing, and I wanted to do that, like I really did, but I didn't kind of push myself to do it, so he pushed me and I got there, and it was like getting over a hill, and once I got over the hill I was like, oh, this is, smooth sailing.
So did you have any input in the we'll say the track being made as well, or did he just create the complete track and you wrote on the track? So did you say, I'd like if you could do something like this, or was it, he did that and you did your part?
Well, for Bad Lad, I'm trying to remember. Bad Lad was really quick in the way that it was written. It was the quickest song. Like it was one of the last songs that we actually made, and he sent me the music. Yeah, I don't think that for that song, I don't think I gave him like a prompt.
Right.
Or I don't think I was like, oh, wouldn't this song be, or wouldn't this other music be cool if we used, or if we did something like the way the bass line sounds or something. I don't think Bad Lad is.
I see.
I'm pretty sure I did say I like a waltz. So did 1 2 3 1 2 3 because I thought it'd be interesting to have one of the songs be a waltz. So yeah, I feel like I did influence that part, but that's it.
Right.
That
So it was presented to you, and as such, and you put your own stamp on it as it was, and you pushed it through from there.
Yeah. Well, to make it the story that it is, definitely. Which was really fun. Like it's so nice to listen to new music and for it not to have any story or whatever attached to it. It's just music. So then you can like make up your own. Like I love listening to original soundtracks to games and to films that have no lyrics or no words, because it's so nice to listen to the instrumentals and to kind of make up your own.
Yeah, because people put time into that.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes they're overlooked, but being a musician as you are, you can understand that takes work to get that piece there, and that's a big thing.
Definitely.
So would you like to say anything to your potential fans, potential listeners and so on, and maybe tell them where they can find your music and so on?
So Bad Lad will be available for streaming on the 1st of October, which is this coming Friday. It'll be available on Spotify, Bandcamp, SoundCloud, think that's
YouTube.
it. Maybe YouTube Music, yeah.
Yeah, it'll hop on YouTube.
Yeah.
You're going through.
We have a cover. There's a lovely
DistroKid, is
lady
it?
doing a cover. Huh?
Is it you're going through DistroKid as a distributor?
Well, at the moment, like that might change. We don't know yet. Sorry, I don't want to say just in case.
You don't want to give too much away, right?
Well,
now.
no, just because I'm like I don't know for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, and if you want to follow stuff to do with my music, then you can follow me on Instagram, Pixy Knight. So it's PIXYKNI, and that's that. So if you follow that, then you will find everything to do with the music.
So make sure to get a listen to this track. Seshireland we're going to put it up on our Instagram and our Facebook page as well. We're going to help push this through as well because this track needs to be heard. So thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Ray.
It's been a pleasure. Dove. Ray, call me what you want, just don't call me early in the morning. Thank you so much for coming in. It's been a pleasure, and you are our first Seshireland guest. So high five me on that one.
Woo!
Let's go. See you in the next one.